Hello, welcome back. This is the part 2 video showing you how to configuring your Ledger device. I just want to bring out a piece of information for your attention. The purpose of this pre-recording training videos is for Decentralized Finance Vault and also can be used as a self-custody cold wallets as well. If you'd like to learn more what you can do within the DeFi world, such as using the decentralized exchange protocol to trade for a very little fee, or to participate into the liquidity pool, and you can't be your own bank and collecting fee as traders out there trading 24/7. If you like what I'm doing, please hit the subscribe button to show support and to encourage me to create more videos. Enough being said, let's get dive in.
Okay, welcome back. And in this video, we're going to pick up right where we left off in the last video and finish configuring our Ledger Nano devices. And so if you're coming back to the Ledger Live app on your computer, like I just was, what you're going to want to do is make sure you toggle down to the My Ledger area. So I'm going to click on My Ledger. And you may already be there if you're doing these lessons back to back, right? But if your Ledger Nano timed out, like mine did, you can go ahead and unlock it. And you may need to acknowledge the prompt on the physical device again, which will return us to this dashboard right here, where you can manage the physical device. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is update the firmware on the device. In case it's not up to date, you'll see a little banner at the top, and you can go through the flow of updating the firmware. So I'm going to click Install Update. Okay, once it's done sending the package to the device, you can toggle over on the buttons on the Nano device itself and confirm the update. And it will ask you for your PIN in the process, so go ahead and do that. And when you're all done, you can click on Finish. And just go through any prompts like this to allow Ledger Live to interact with the physical device again, because you're kind of resetting it. And so I still see a banner here that there's yet another firmware update, so I'll go ahead and just go through that flow again. So I'm going to hit Install Update. Okay, once you go through all the flows, you'll eventually be finished updating all the firmware. And you'll be able to head back to the dashboard. And now we can see that there's no longer a notice to update the firmware. Okay, now what we want to do is install just a couple of apps on our Nano device. And what these apps do is they let us generate accounts on the different blockchain networks where we want to hold some crypto, right? We want to self-custody our crypto. And what's cool about the Ledger device is that it's essentially like a mini computer, and all we need to do is install the appropriate apps for each different blockchain, and then we can manage them all with one secure vault with one seed phrase or recovery phrase. And the first thing you can do is install the Bitcoin app. And this is going to be more so for just storing Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not something that we directly use in DeFi, but having this app installed on your Ledger will allow you to self-custody any Bitcoin if at any point you want to do that. Right? You might be taking profits in Bitcoin and things like that. So you'll want to install this app. So I'm going to click Install. And you'll see it loading up on the physical device. And then now on that app menu on the physical and Nano, you will see that little Bitcoin logo. So you have the Bitcoin app on the device. Okay, we can we can close this pop-up. And the next app we're going to need is the Ethereum app. This will let us access the entire Ethereum ecosystem of networks. So I'm going to click install on that, and this whole process is going to be somewhat repetitive. You'll see that same loading screen on the physical Nano. And when that's done, you'll also notice that you now have the Ethereum app on the physical device. And then finally, for now, we are going to install the Solana app. So I'm going to click on install, and it's going to be the same exact process. And when that's all done, you'll see all three on the physical device, and you can toggle to cycle between them. Now, once you've installed these three apps, you are done with the Ledger Live desktop app. There's a lot of other apps in the app catalog here, and we are not going to need them. And so you can ignore this entire list here, unless down the line there's something very specific that you are going to self-custody, and it has nothing to do with DeFi per se. That would be the only reason why you come into Ledger Live to install the app for a particular crypto asset that you need to install the app for, so that you can self-custody it. But again, otherwise, there's nothing else you need to do here. You also don't need to click on the Add Account buttons here for the apps that we just installed, especially with the Ethereum app and the Solana app. We're going to set these up in a different way, right? The one exception to what I just said would be if you wanted to self-custody some Bitcoin, you will need to click the Add Account button to generate a Bitcoin wallet address where you can receive Bitcoin, but that is the one exception here. And we're not going to be using the Ledger Live application to interact with DeFi. And so you can also largely ignore this entire menu here. We're not going to be tracking a portfolio in here or doing any sending and receiving for the most part through Ledger Live. And so once we close this app, right now, you will hardly have the need to come back to it. Okay, now that being said, the last thing that we're going to want to do is configure some final settings on the physical device, right? And so at this point, we don't want the device connected to the Ledger Live app. So you can either close the Ledger Live app, or if you unplug your Ledger from the computer, which is what I just did. So now I can see that my device is disconnected. And so now on the main menu of the physical device, I'm just going to set up some last minute things here inside the Ethereum app first, and then the Solana app. So I'm going to toggle over to the Ethereum app and press both buttons. Then if I scroll over to the right from the application ready screen, I want to go into the settings of the Ethereum app. And there's a couple of different options here. There's something called blind signing, debug data, but really all we are concerned with is blind signing, right? So you can use the left and right to scroll through the different settings here. And if you scroll to the end of the list, you would reach this back screen here. And if I press both buttons, it'll take me to the main menu of the Ethereum app, right? But I want to go back into settings. And then all I want to do with blind signing highlighted, where you can see it's slightly highlighted, I want to tap both buttons to enable blind signing. So when I do that, you'll see that switch to enabled. If I press both buttons again, I can toggle back and forth between enabled and disabled. I want to enable blind signing, and that's all I need to do. So then I can scroll all the way over to the right to back, press both buttons, and now I'm back on the main screen of the Ethereum app where it says application ready. So I'm done with the Ethereum app. So now I'm going to scroll over to quit. I'm going to tap both buttons. Now I'm on the main front end menu of the Ledger Nano device, and I'm going to scroll over to the Solana app and press both buttons to go into the Solana app. And this is a similar ready screen for the Solana app, but I'm going to scroll over to the settings. I'm going to press both buttons. And this menu looks slightly different, but it's the same idea here, right? There's all these different things that I can configure. It's a little simpler on the Solana app, but all I want to do is tap both buttons on the Allow Blind Signs setting. And I want to switch it from No to Yes. So we're allowing what's called blind signing within both apps, right? So I could double check. I have it set to Yes, which I do. Tap both buttons again, it just brings me back to that menu. Then I can scroll down over to back, press both buttons, and now I'm back on the main screen of the Solana app. And if I scroll over, I can press quit, and that would take me to the main menu of my ledger. This is what I would see when I first turn my ledger on. And that is all we need to do on the physical device. Woo! That was something, wasn't it? Now, what you can do is congratulate yourself for getting through all of this. This is one of the most annoying things that you would have had to do in its entire process. And thankfully, this is something that, you set up a vault once and it's good to go. And it kind of makes sense if you think about this whole process we went through. It was a little bit involved, but we were setting up a vault that makes us bulletproof and secure in the world of crypto. And this whole structure is amazing because you truly get to be the king or the queen of your kingdom. You are fully sovereign over your assets. No one can take them from you. No one can seize them. No one can prevent you from transacting however you want to on the open market. But with that freedom and with that sovereignty comes this responsibility to keep our treasure secure. And so congratulations, you did it. That's it for this video.